So I've been getting the push to share the story about my connection to God and what that means to me, right? Years ago, when I would have different readings from people, they started off with, Our Father who art in heaven. And they said, you can go along and say that with us if you would like. And I was like, I'm good, right? So then I started working with somebody. I was about to work with somebody else, and she was seeing, like, you have all these spiritual gifts, and this is where you are, and we're going to work together. And she says, okay, we're going to come up with something that's really good for you to open up how you're going to connect to spirit. But for now, let's start off with Our Father. And I was like, I'm good. And, for her, when she connects, she's like, Heavenly Father, whatever. And all that is so beautiful and super great. However, I started asking, what is the reason? I do not want to say that with them, right? Like, because there was some serious resistance on, no, I'm not saying that. Well, the reason was because when I was a little girl, my older sister and I, when we would get in trouble, my dad would have us kneel next to him and say that prayer. So to me, in my mind, in my little inner child, if I'm saying that or wanting to connect to God, I did something wrong. Okay? So it took for them to bring it up to my awareness, and then for me to go in a little bit deeper and self-reflecting and ask, what is this that's coming up, right? So it can be released. So I believe that God is love. And I know this because I went into meditation asking, because this is what I've been working on, like getting lighter in my body and feeling really good in my body. And I said, I want to know God. Like, I just really asked. And I came out of the most magnificent golden tunnel out of my meditation of being wrapped in what I call the most peaceful and beautiful, like, tranquility, just being lowered back down. And it was a feeling, right? There was no words. It was like this feeling of just like magnificent warmth, heat, warm blanket, lowering me back down. And I was like, yeah, that's God. That right there. And that's the energy when I do these sessions with my clients, that some of them say, I feel very calm, very relaxed, like I was wrapped in this warm blanket. And I'm like, yeah, that's pure love that's coming into these sessions, that's helping heal some of the wounds. And that's how I like for people to leave our sessions, is with that same feeling of very calm, very relaxed in their beingness. So this was probably a few months ago. I went to like a wellness retreat, and I was sitting down talking to this woman, and I said, we started talking about, she said how she was going to a church, and she said they were all acting weird from the COVID stuff. And she was like, not here too. And I said, well, God is inside of you, right? You are carrying the light of that love, that spark, that divinity inside of you. And we started talking about it. And then I said, because I could see she had the same resistance I was having, right? And I said, and it's just talking to me and me bringing this up can bring things in your mind's eye for spirit to show you this is what you're carrying. So I hope that this unlocks something for some of you that are searching for something that is deeply hidden. It's a most beautiful, harmonious thing that's hidden inside of you. I said, what is blocking you from connecting to God? And Spirit took her to when she was a child. And I think that it was Catholic. She's Brazilian. So I think that it was a Catholic upbringing, a Catholic something, that her inner child was like fearful of God, right? And she's like, I don't even know where that just came from. I said, because that's coming up to be healed and released. All right. So start looking at some of your belief systems. Like, what are they? And I'm not saying, I think, and I'm just sharing, my thoughts on this, is I think the original intention of religion was created, there was a truth, and the truth that was there was pure, and it was loving, and it was compassionate, but it was a firm knowing too, right? Like there was this, the difference between right and wrong. And somewhere along the way, things have gotten distorted. And my mission here, and that's what I've been working on, is reconnecting with those parts of me that knew the divinity that's within me, right? And really embracing my essence, my truth of who I am, all right? That I am one with, not that I am God, because Heavenly Father does come in my sessions, and there is a firm force, and I know it, but so does the Divine Mother, and that's that loving feeling, right? So it's a very beautiful mix of energy that comes in with clarity and knowing what it is that we want and what we don't want, and helping us navigate our way out of it. So even if you don't believe in some of the stuff that's in there, I've said this before, if you don't, it doesn't matter, because if 2 or more people believe in something, it does exist. So if you just walked away with a few simple things, right? Do unto others as you'd want done unto you. That's the golden rule, right? Do your best every day. And if you didn't do something right, you can go back and correct it, right? This is where the forgiveness piece really comes into play. And some of the hardest things for me to forgive was myself. Really looking at areas where I did not honor my self-worth the way that I do now, that I did not live from that space. But again, like when you know better, you do better, and you would never move in that space. Now that I would never move in that space. Now that I know these things, and even if there's a setback, because I think a lot of people think that once they're feeling really good, it's supposed to stay that way. However, when things are coming down the pipeline, right, it's to show you that you're still holding on to them and to clear them out. Okay, like that's all that it's there for, is to say you're still karmically tied to something that is very uncomfortable, and are you ready to let that go? You can let that go with grace. You can hold on to it, go kicking and screaming. In fact, in the beginning of my journey, I was kicking and screaming a lot. Right? I was like, what do you take it from me? Like this just, it was just so much, right? So again, know that space of grace and harmony, it does exist. And how we get there is asking, do we like how we're showing up in the world? Do we like? And you have to feel it, because there's a shadow that's within us, and that's the lower energies, right? So for me, I had to unlock both the highs and the lows and integrate them into my beingness. And know that it's okay that I went through all these different waves, right? Because now I'm in like a balanced being that is just here, enjoying the presence of radiating this energy and this love, and understanding that this is where people are, but that's not where I need to be, right? I don't have to lower myself because someone else is suffering. I can stay firm in who I am and radiate that out, definitely at a time when they're in a lower vibration, right? Like that's how we can help each other, raise each other up. That's how when we go into these healing sessions, certain blocks of energy start getting removed, right? That's why I'm able to show compassion to people who are in lower states of consciousness or struggling with a certain situation, because that which you judge, you will experience. So be mindful of the stuff you're projecting, what you're judging, right? Especially about yourself and about others in the world. There's times that I had experienced things, and I remember saying like, hey, I don't know, this is to myself, I don't know how I would have handled that, but I do know that this hurt me, right? So just acknowledging, I'm not sure, but this did hurt, was enough for me to clear it, right? And really let it go. So keep diving in deep. I hope this video helps, and know that you are a part of something that is so magnificent, and it hasn't given up on you. You just got to let it in. I'm Nicole with bsmission.org. Thanks for watching.